Hi everyone, it's Mitch here with Rod Zawacki, Jeff Jeter. We're going to trade some paint and give out some NASCAR picks for this weekend's racing. On Saturday, we kicks off with the Xfinity Unhinged 300 and then followed up by the Cup Series race, the Geico 500. Where's this race at, Jeff?
It's a Talladega, baby.
Welcome, Jeff, to our show. Welcome, Rod. Talladega Motor Speedway. Hell yeah, man. This is one of the big boys, right? This is kind of like in college football, They have the BCS bowl games, right? Talladega, it might not be the national championship game, which is Daytona, but it is certainly maybe a Rose Bowl type game, right? Maybe Rose Bowl type or I don't know, Fiesta Bowl, maybe.
Hey, if it was the fall race, we'd probably have the Alabama home game in Tuscaloosa on Saturday, and we'd be going straight over to Talladega, about an hour and a half or so away, for the race on Sunday. So it'd be a double kicker weekend, man.
Make no two ways about that. This is a big one, right? The Talladega race, and this is on the Super Speedway. This is so. Let's talk a little bit about super speedway racing before we get started. We'll do Xfinity first, and then we'll get to the big race. But on the super speedway, obviously it's a bigger track, right? It's a wider track, but less passing, more passing. Wasn't the draft kind of what the big super speedways are all about? The drafting.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Two cars together are better or faster than one car, and that's basically what, obviously everybody knows pretty much what the draft is, but it makes for some very exciting and close racing, especially, towards the end of these races. And, we should see some very, very exciting racing here come Saturday and as well, of course, on Sunday.
Yeah, this is, someone gets that close on my bumper, you know what I'm saying? Get the hell off my ass. Anyways, we're going to get off our asses right here. We're going to go to the Xfinity Series and go to the Unhinged 300 at Talladega as well, right? So it's 300 laps around Talladega Motor Speedway, which is a 2-mile oval?
It's 2.66-mile oval.
Monster,
the Xfinity race should be about 110 laps, 300 miles this weekend. And then, of course, the Cup race will be 500 miles and 188 laps. So, it's a mileage, event this weekend. But anyway, so we're looking at a 300-mile race on Saturday.
Yeah, so, I just think that, what do we got? Who's in, who's out? We've seen different drivers. The Xfinity, it's kind of like the minor leagues of NASCAR, but it's weird because, the difference between the minor league baseball and the Xfinity races is that, Steven Strasburg could pitch a game down there and no one would have a problem with it, right? It's kind of like, that's the way it works. Like Kyle Busch, one of the top racers, Chase Elliott, they all run Xfinity, but they're only allowed to run, I believe Jeff said last time out, it was 4 races a year per driver on the lower circuit. So I don't know if they strategically pick which 4 based upon the track, based upon whatever. Maybe they want to get around the track, but still 750 miles plus in an Xfinity race. This is a lot of race right here.
Well, again, it's 300 miles. And the good thing is
300 miles or 300 laps.
300 miles, 110 laps.
So why are some races? Why are some races when it's the 500, it's 500 laps? And some are miles. How do we know which are which?
Well, that's what I'm here for. No, it depends on obviously the size of the track. The sponsors want to have that number out in front of their name, no doubt, and that's been that way ever since. And usually the short tracks will have 500 laps, whereas your big speedways like the Daytona 500, it's 500 miles. Talladega, it's 500 miles, and et cetera. Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte, it's 600 miles, 400 laps because it's a 1.5-mile track. So it's all about. We just got to kind of. We'll have to talk about that every week, I guess.
Yeah, it just seems like it does. There's no rhyme or reason to it, because 500 laps at some speedways is 250 miles, and 500 laps at Talladega is. I mean, this is basically driving from New York to Boston and back. So what are we looking for at this week's big Xfinity race at Talladega? Obviously, whether it's Xfinity or whether it's Cup Series, it is Talladega.
Yeah, I mean, with Talladega, and this goes for just both the Xfinity race as well as the Cup Series race. I'm telling you, with these, obviously, we know the big wrecks will happen more times than not. It's just a product of the racetrack. Anything can happen. But I think what me and Rod will talk about are just basically who we think have the best, ability to finish, to win, and obviously finish in, the top 3, top 5, top 10 type deal. That's what we're really looking at. But honestly, it's a crapshoot, and you'll see that this weekend.
So, what are we looking for in this race at Xfinity? Rod, obviously we haven't heard a lot from here. I kind of hijacked the show there for a couple seconds, and then, Jeff always into the finer details of the NASCAR race. Obviously no fans in the stands, and that's it's got to be expensive to open up one of these two speedways, which they're normally 100,000 plus. Usually they have the infield on races like this. Just hardly the same atmosphere at Talladega. But, Rod, what are you looking for in this week's Xfinity race?
For me, how can you not love Talladega? I love it when they get the 3 lanes going and it's all around and just like, nah, it's crazy the way the draft in this race is unreal. I've even seen it where the whole pack will leave a guy just out hanging, just leave him single by himself, where he's just like, yeah, you're not winning. And they just move right down into another pack and he's hanging there and it's just like, you go from first to 20 in 30 seconds. So, and not get wrecked. So that's the big thing about Talladega is surviving to get to the end without being smashed to bits. So for me in the Xfinity race, I'm going to stick with the guy that I went with last week, with Chase Briscoe. How can you not? He's been on fire this year, just racing the lights out, and I like him here. And you're going to give me 7-1 on him. Last week he was plus 125. This week he's plus 700. You got to go with Chase Briscoe here as being running right there in the Xfinity. Another guy I'm going to take is Ross Chastain at plus 550. Those are the 2 guys I'm going to go with this Xfinity race. They've been right there all year. I don't see that changing. I see them right there at the finish with one of those guys winning.
How about you, Jeff? Who are you looking at here?
Yeah, and I agree with Rod on Chase Briscoe as well as Ross Chastain. To take it even a little bit further, I definitely like Brandon Jones at 12-1 or plus 1,200 this weekend. He's shown some pretty decent performance here over the last year or so in the Xfinity Series at not only Talladega but also at Daytona. And just for a good long shot, this weekend who's got a top 10 car week in and week out. Ryan Sieg in the 39 car, he's at plus 4,500 this weekend. And we're going to see a lot of these prices this weekend, that have a chance of winning. But Ryan Sieg, 39 car, I'll take that all day long.
Okay, so there you have it. We'll recap these picks, of course, at the end of the show. Let's go to the big one, where the big boys race. We'll go to Talladega Motor Speedway, and I'm going to guess everybody's in this week for this race. Last week we saw Denny Hamlin take the checkered flag. My first
nice
pick
call there.
My first pick of the NASCAR season. I don't know what what inspired me to take Hamlin, but I was pretty adamant about it actually on the show, and he did take it home. And now it's Hamlin obviously the second win now this season. Harvick's got a couple wins as well. Chase Elliott's been running well. Kyle Busch has been running extremely well. Are these the guys to beat this week? Rod?
For me, guy I'm going to go with this week, guy I think's been he's just been the most unluckiest all year. He's been right there. He's got some great momentum. He's got 3 straight top fives in the last 3 Cup races, and he's a nice 12-1. I like Ryan Blaney at plus 1,200 to win this race. Also like him in the top 5 at plus 250. He's got 3 straight top 5, or he's been in his top 5 the last three races. Been rolling really good. Just getting very unlucky to not get a win. So he's one of the guys I'm taking. Take Ryan Blaney to win. Also, got to take the Keselowski. He's active driver right now with the most wins here at Talladega. So I think he's going to be right there in the mix, bumping and grinding. Definitely got a good shot there. And I like Logano. Give me Logano at plus 900. And take all these guys in the top 5. Those are the 3 guys I'm keyed on this week. Logano, Keselowski, and Blaney.
How about you, Jeff? What are you looking at this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like Chase at plus 850. I know he is the favorite for the race, but hey, Chase Elliott this year, I found him at 850. I mean, you're not going to get him. You're not going to see this again until probably Daytona in August. So, and I do like Logano with Rod to win and top 5. I do like Eric Amarola to top 5 at plus 350. And as far as a couple of long shots, I like Ty Dillon at plus 6,600. He's been hanging around the top 10 a little bit in this race. Big Rex got him a couple of times, but his brother Austin Dillon, them two will draft each other to the front, and it will not surprise me whatsoever if these two are not up there 10 to go, in contention. Other than that, just a couple other long shot plays. Brandon Gaughan, he races a 62 car. They only race Talladega and Daytona throughout the year, or obviously less than a part-time team, but he'll hang around the back all day long, and then with about probably 30 or 40 laps to go, he'll sit there. I mean, you just look at the Daytona 500, he finished 7th. So for him to top 10 at plus 380, he's in the 62 car. I'll take that all day. And my last kind of long shot play, I'll take Michael McDowell in the 34 car to top 10 at plus 430. So I just think there's, again, a lot of things can happen in this race. And, I'll definitely take shots that we normally won't, at these not plate racing tracks anymore, but I guess you call them pack racing tracks or drafting tracks, super speedways. Throw the adjective in there.
This is a great race. I love this race. I'm disappointed I'll be driving, so
should be a good
I'll be listening to it old school style again on the radio.
Obviously, a lot of stars in here, and stars seem to be aligned. So you're going with who are your top picks? So you want to recap your picks for the show?
My top picks in the Cup race, I'm going with Ryan Blaney, Keselowski, and Logano. And in the Infinity race, I'm going with Ross Chastain and Chase Briscoe.
Jeff?
All right, in the Cup race, I'm going to go with favorite Chase Elliott at plus 850 and Chase to get a top 5 at plus 180. I'm also going, I agree with Rod on Joey Logano. I also like long shot Ty Dillon at plus 6,600 to win. For some couple long shots, I like Eric Amarola to top 5 at plus 350. I like Brendan Gaughan to top 10 at plus 380. And I like Michael McDowell to top 10 at plus 430. And one I just didn't mention, if you're playing the group and you can find a group between William Byron, Matt DiBenedetto, Austin Dillon, and Christopher Bell, I found Austin Dillon at plus 240 to win in that group. We can go back and mark that down later, but I like Austin Dillon to win out or finish ahead of William Byron, Matt DiBenedetto, Christopher Bell. Xfinity race, Rod mentioned my picks. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah. That's one thing we don't talk about a lot of the group bets, and I think moving forward we may want to talk about those a little more. But anyway, moving on for I like the obviously Rod's pick of Chase Briscoe and Ross Chastain. A couple long shots I picked were Brandon Jones at plus 1,200 to win, and also Ryan Sieg at plus 4,500 to win. So the Xfinity race on Saturday. So again, this is just a great weekend to take advantage of some long shots. Anything can happen at Talladega. You're probably not wrong picking other guys, but these are just the guys I feel we're definitely pretty strong on that have a historical performance here at Talladega.
Awesome. Good stuff once again from Jeff Jeter and Rod Zawacki. Trading some pain here, talking some NASCAR. Of course, normally Jeff comes on the weekends on our other live show. He just scheduled conflicts this week, so we're doing it Friday night. And, of course, it'll be available on YouTube and Facebook all weekend long if you want to go back and review the picks. But, everyone, thanks for joining us. We'll see you again next week.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
We'll see you again next week. What race is next week?
Pocono doubleheader. Scheduling's going to be crazy next week, guys.
Going to be nuts at Pocono. See you guys later. Have a great one.